Establishing lasting peace is the work of education. All politics can do is keep us out of war. Maria Montessori. It was a small town of Chiaravalle in Italy on 31st of August 1870 that she was born. A physician and an educator in her later years, Maria Montessori is best known for her work in child education and scientific pedagogy. What you're going to experience in the next few minutes is the journey into the history of the Montessori movement in India. The years during the World War II can be marked as one of the bleakest epochs in history. World over, people lost, amongst other things, faith in humanity and mankind. However, as the quirky twist in fate would have it, India serendipitously found a tiny spark of hope for the future generations to come. There were tumultuous times just before the onset of the World War II in 1934, when Maria Montessori was exiled from Italy by Benito Mussolini because she didn't comply with his wishes of including children from Montessori schools also to be enrolled into the fascist youth organization that he had set up. After her subsequent stay in Spain and Netherlands, in 1939, on an invitation by the couple, Rukmini Devi Arundale, the famous Bharatnatyam dancers and founder of Kalakshetra, and her husband George Sidney Arundale, the president of the Theosophical Society of India, Maria Montessori, then 69 years of age, along with her son Mario Montessori, endured a long, arduous journey to reach India. She stayed in Adyar, Chennai. At that time, Britain interned all Italians in the United Kingdom and its colonies as enemy aliens. In fact, only Mario Montessori was interned, while Montessori herself was confined to the Theosophical Society compound, and Mario was reunited with his mother after 2 months on her birthday. Her stay being extended till 1946 resulted in an event which can be marked as the beginning of the Montessori movement in India, the birth of the Indian Montessori training courses. 1939. Dr. Maria Montessori and Mario Montessori arrive in India. The first course under the auspices of the Indian Montessori Training Courses IMTC is held in Adyar. Khurshid Tarapurwala, Tehmira Wadia and Gul Minwala, later to be eminent Montessorians, are in the first batch of students trained in India. The IMTC courses from 1939 to 1998 were certified by Association Montessori International AMI.
I was playing with map of India, and in fact collecting maps today is still my hobby. I was not told that I am coming first from the bottom in the class. So they never used to disturb. I could sit together for 2 hours in the painting class and paint and skip the other classes. That freedom was there.
One day in Kalakshetra where she was, we wanted to dress her in Indian clothes, and so this is the picture, and we put everything, and she enjoyed doing all those things, and we take pride in displaying that. That was taken in Adyar.
Montessorian Shankar Datta Pandey, who trained in Kodaikanal, describes Mario Montessori as a person who had good knowledge about plant and animal kingdoms. He remembers how Mario used to bring little frogs and lizards to class and hold them in his hands fearlessly. He once caught a snake that had entered the environment and showed it to children.
What was your training period, ma'am? Year, months or days?
It was 3 months.
Which year, ma'am?
1948.
In
Karachi. My memory about Dr. Montessori is she had a personality that made you respect. She commanded respect, and she was a dynamic person. When you saw her, you felt, here is somebody with a message. And after attending her classes, I felt here was a messiah, not for the adult, for the child. Mario was the pillar. Madam wouldn't have achieved all this without Mario. Mario was not only a devoted son, but a devoted pupil of Madam Montessori. And his contribution has been very great, and he was somebody who make anyone feel homely, and he was such a loving person. And personally, I owe him so much.
1948.
1948. Okay, and that was in which part of India?
Madras.
Madras.
Madras Kalakshetra.
Okay.
1 year course. From morning, 7 or 8 o'clock to evening we used to have classes. We were maybe about 20 of us were there.
20.
There are some senior students also were there, 4 to 5 second year students.
Oh,
Advanced course also was there.
Okay.
A few of them were there.
1949. Between 1939 and 1949, Maria Montessori conducted 16 Indian Montessori training courses with the help of her son Mario and Albert Max Houston, thus laying a very sound foundation for the Montessori movement in India.
Mr. Houston used to be there with us all the time, and he is completely devoted to this Montessori method.
Yeah.
How he used to teach us so well, we used to get frightened, and I had to answer, I used to remember. He was so strict.
1951. Paul Chinnappa, the Deputy Director of Public Instruction, became the first Indian to receive training from Maria Montessori in Rome. His sister, Miss Grace Pichimuthu, was an educator too. They tried to adopt the elements from Montessori method in the schooling system in Karnataka. Around this time, there existed a Montessori House of Children in Mysore too, set up by Dr. M. V. Gopalswamy. People in India were aware of the work Miss Montessori was doing with children by then. There was a preparatory committee formed which invited Mr. Houston from IMTC formally to conduct courses in India. Mr. MPL Shastri as the chairman, Mrs. Savitri Venkatram the secretary, Mr. MLR Shastri as the director, and Miss Grace Pichimuthu as a member formed the preparatory committee. Himamshu Jyoti Kalapita used to be the office of this preparatory committee. Mrs. Sundarama Shastri and Mrs. Savitri Venkatram did all the groundwork to get IMTC courses to be conducted in Bangalore.
She was working in Ahmedabad in Shreyas school. Savitrama was in charge of probably the lower
Setting up,
lower elementary, and she was also the warden there because it residential school. How a child should be taken care of, because all that, whatever is said, it is there in our Bhagavatam, how Lord Krishna revealed himself, how Yashoda took care of him, all those things. So Mr. Swami was able to connect these, and when we heard Mr. Swami, something touched our hearts. When Mr. Yoston was giving the lectures, all the assistants would be there. And then when Mr. Swami and Bashal were taking classes, Mr. Yoston would go away. He was, should I say, very thorough in whatever he did. A perfectionist.
Where in City Market you did the course?
SLM school next to Apsara Theatre. There's one Apsara Theatre.
Yes.
Next, at the back of Apsara Theatre. So once he's there, he was the person who used to sell books, everything, whatever we needed, we took from him.
Okay. You remember what was the fees you paid for the course?
Very something 650. I don't know. That much only.
Oh, that
very,
is
very.
Okay.
(1970). The birth centenary celebrations of Dr. Montessori were organized in New Delhi. A postage stamp was released on the occasion. V.V. Giri, the President of India, presided over the function.
He loved India. The few days before he passed away, he was in Europe with his sister and mother. He was not married. And they said, "You are not feeling too well. Why do you want to go to India now? Why don't you stay here, get better and then go?" He said, "I'm not getting better. But if I have to die, I'll die in India, not here in Europe." He came back. True to his word, third day he passed away.
(1989). A conference is organized in Chennai to commemorate the 50 years of Montessori in India. Mario Montessori Jr. attends. Indian Montessori Center is formed and FPMM is merged with it.
After Mr. Austin passed away, Mr. Swami carried on the flag of Montessori. Mr. Swami handed it over. He was alive, but he was very weak and he was very ill. And he, from that time, 1990, until very recently, I was holding on to the training. But now I am free.
The Indian Montessori Center has been very active in various areas of work with the singular aim of propagating the Montessori movement, be it through the IMTC or CMTC, IMTC Elementary, distance education online and correspondence, or Paraspara, Avalokana, Madhurya, or periodicals like Follow the Child magazine and the e-newsletter, and publications of books and CDs of rhymes, or recognitions of HOC, provisional and permanent, consultancy services, and the more recent parenting program IMC is striving hard to reach Montessori out to every child, individual, and organization.
The doctorate and PhD educationists are not the real people who are going to contribute to world peace. It is people who serve the child. That's what I think.
It has been a glorious period of 75 years, complete with passionate people joining in the movement, making it bigger by the year. The tiny ripple which was caused years ago in the field of education is gradually taking shape of a new wave, which one day we hope will bring with it a sea of change in the way the world looks at the child.